I got to tell you, Margot, that's got to be the funniest thing I've heard all day. Love
Well,
it.
this time I clicked the wrong link, so I thought I always get on last minute and I can't talk for the first 5 minutes, and so I thought I'm getting on early and I'm sitting and waiting and waiting and waiting. I was on at like 1:45, and then I realized I'd clicked on a link from a couple weeks ago.
Welcome to the party.
I
Welcome to the
know, so I
party.
was like,
Oh, Mr. Flashner, good morning. Good afternoon. Dave's still trying to log on. Travis.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Egan. Good afternoon, my friend. Welcome to our playhouse.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome, my friend. You're so welcome. Just to kind of bring you up to speed as to exactly what you have entered into is basically it's really a safe zone. It's a place where several LOs from around the country have gathered to literally talk about the authentic piece of ourselves that allow us to become better at attracting business. And I use that term authentic because it's something that I've just recently come to understand as to what it is that we're actually doing on these calls. You've got guys from Texas, you've got Margot from Michigan, you've got other people from Florida, and is Georgia as well. So this call is really designed to be a participatory conversation. So Travis, you've got to share your thoughts and feelings and be engaged in this to get the most out of it as possible. Would anybody else on the call agree?
oh, I do, yep, because we all learn by people sharing what works, what doesn't, suggestions, things like that, so.
Right, exactly. So what we're going to do today, it's getting on to the top of the hour, is really just start, again, go over what our January looked like for 2016. This would be the first month. Many of the people that have been on this call, Travis, have been on the call since May, June of last year, and it takes a little bit of time to build up the momentum, but what you'll see, I think, is a transformation of several LO's businesses. And so by doing that, I'll share with you a little bit about what other people have kind of come through, so to speak. So I'll give Mark Zachary, you're on the call, correct?
Yes, sir, just got here.
Awesome. So Mark Zachary is, without really sugarcoating it, has, I'm going to say, transformed his business from where he was in 2015 until now. And so while I'm pulling up the information, hey, Mark, would you just share a little bit with Travis what you've experienced? Because I don't think Travis has only been with the Smith Group for, what, has it been 90 days, Travis? Maybe a little bit longer?
Yeah, just I think. I started the first week of November, but I wasn't even licensed at that point.
Got it. So, all right. So what we're going to work on is I want to share with you what Mark Zachary's lead tracker, which is really the fundamental tool that we use to kind of help guide our business. So let's do this. This was an example of Mark Zachary's lead tracker in June of 2015. So Mark, I'll let you kind of go through it from there.
Yeah, so, up until from January, really prior to June, I just didn't track my business at all. I wrote down my leads all over 3 different notebooks, and wherever I had a piece of paper, I wrote them down and lost track of them. But in June, when I started on this call, Doug pressed me to make sure I am tracking every single thing that comes in the door, and every lead, every time I have a conversation about mortgages with realtors, leads, any of that, get it on paper so I know exactly where my business is coming from, what's working, what's not working, where I should focus more. And I had put this spreadsheet together several years ago and just got out of the habit of utilizing it up until June. And that's when I started tracking my business. And last January was just a horrible month. January 2015. I didn't close the deal. I don't know how many leads I had. I don't know how many good leads, bad leads, where they came from, or anything. And so I started tracking this stuff faithfully in June, and it's just changed my business. It changed the way I go about my day, it changes the way I go about my week, and it helps me identify who I need to call on more, who I need to stop calling on, or just limit my calls to, because I was calling a bunch of people that really couldn't give me the leads that I even wanted, that that could get me to a certain level. And so once I started tracking it, my business is just changed 100%. And so you go from January of 2015, where there's nothing, and I mean nothing, no closings, to January 2016, we're at 39 leads, 3 closings. I got 17 active leads, 4 pre-qualifications, 7 new deals under contract, and I have 8 bad leads for bad credit. So I know exactly where they're coming from. I know the percentage of my business, where it's coming from, what realtor's giving me the most business, who's wasting my time, and all of that. And I can just look on one spreadsheet and tell you everything about my business.
So, Travis, one of the things that I want you to realize that Mark is kind of he's not really blowing it up as much as I wish he would, is the fact that the business that he's doing, the business that you're looking at on this lead tracker, look at the sources of business in which, where it comes from. He got 23 leads from realtors, 10 from family and friends, 4 from past clients, and 2 from current clients. So he's sitting at a 16 lead month from sources of business from people that already know, like, and trust him. And I think that was the greatest aha moment for Mark as he tracked his business from June of last year until January. Mark, you and I had a very intimate phone call around the aha moment that provided you.
Yep. Yeah, and it's really it's empowering to go in. I had several meetings last week with pretty top producers in the Austin area, and it was really cool. At the time, it was 44% of my business was coming from people that I already knew, and so and I was able to share that percentage with them, and it let them know. And I told them, I said, I'm very selective now of the realtors I work with, and whereas before I was just going in begging to work with any realtor. And so for me to be able to say 44% of my business at that particular time was from people I knew was pretty attractive. They had the same type of business where it was, they worked with people they knew as well. And so it spoke to the fact that I take care of my clients and take care of the people I know, and they refer business to me.
Hey, Mark, when you've met with your realtors recently, last time we talked, we actually we talked a little bit about sharing this lead tracker with your agents on your in meetings and whatnot. Have you done that yet?
I haven't done it yet. No.
And anybody on the call?
Do what?
I was just curious if anybody on the call had.
No, I talked about it with one, but it's only been like one meeting that we had, and so I think before I share a little more detail like that, because what it does is it shows all the other realtors I'm working with, their number, and so I kind of want to, maybe create one and then just delete out a bunch of the stuff but leave the number so she can get the concept but not the info.
Well, then, you know what? That's a really good point, Margot. And so my thought to you is this. What happens if you just created a lead tracker that showed how good you are converting your past clients and current clients into new business? That really speaks to the volume of your ability to manage your relationships, and you now become a pillar of business to the realtor. A realtor that sees that a loan officer is able to generate their own leads, you now become more of more of an asset to the team as opposed to a parasitic host relationship, which I think most realtor and lender relationships are. I think showing them, if you were to just take Mark's lead tracker and show them the 16 referrals that you got this month from friends and family and past clients and current clients, if you were to slide that in front of the nose of a realtor and go, listen, this is what my business looks like, just from my database and my past clients. I'm not sitting here telling you that I need your business. I'm sitting here telling you that wouldn't you rather align yourself with a loan officer who values the relationships with the people that they works with? I think you just basically uncover every fear that a realtor has by that statement alone. Would you agree?
Yeah, oh, wholeheartedly.
So, hey, Mark, thank you for that.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Margo, you could just hide column G. You could hide column G when you went in there.
That's
and,
true.
Just right-click it, hide it.
That's a really good point.
You know, put something over, just maybe black out that right side, you know, with the other realtors' names, but that's something you could try too.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, because,
hey, Ryan, go ahead. I'm sorry, Margo.
no, that's okay. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, hey, Ryan Miller's on the call. Ryan's been on the call as well. He's been on the call since, I think, June of last year. And what I've pulled up here is Ryan's lead tracker for June of 2015. Hey, Ryan, you there?
I'm here. That's depressing.
Awesome, buddy. Can you it's not depressing, man. It's reflective. It's reflective. Look at where you've come from. So this is an example of Ryan Miller's lead tracker in June of 2015. Ryan, you want to speak to what you've experienced since really starting to track and manage your business this way?
Sure. Well, my lead track is much more full now. I guess that's the short answer. So for the month of January, gang, my goal for personal production is $1 million, and I was able to hit that this month. But the more impressive thing for me is my longer-term goal is to do $2 million on a monthly basis. And working with Doug and Mark for the past 6 or 7 months, we figured out that I would have to have 30 incoming leads to convert 10 units, which would equate to $2 million with my average loan amount. So for the month of January, this is the first month I was actually able to obtain that goal since we set it back in the month of July. So for me, the much more impressive part in regards to my production is not the $1 million I closed, but the 30 leads that I was able to generate for the month of January.
What is generating the leads when you look at your business beyond just this January? What does this lead tracker share for you, knowing that you have this kind of an attraction model? What does it mean for February and March and April? What does January's lead tracker provide you?
Well, you know, it's funny you should say that, Doug. I'm actually I was packing up last night. We have a Florida roundtable that we're doing, and that's a whole other discussion. But nevertheless, I'm going to be out of the office for half a day Thursday and then all Friday. And as a one-man producer, that would usually resonate some type of fear inside of me because I wouldn't be producing that day and a half. And as you know, we got to kill what we eat every day.
Right.
So knowing that I already have executed contracts for February and several in March, I don't have that fear as I normally would leaving for the Florida roundtable.
Wow.
So what it's done is just give me peace of mind and insurance, you know, and that's, I think we've all experienced it, especially when the mortgage industry crashed. That fear of not being able to provide for your family, I don't, for me, I'm not really a fearful guy, but that kind of strikes you at your core, at least for myself.
Right, right. I remember a call you and I had together, Ryan. It was, you were all excited that you had $1 million closing in that month. Remember that call?
I do.
And I know that I probably busted your bubble when I said it, but I felt like it was something that maybe shifted your mindset to really kind of grasp what we were doing.
Yes. Yeah, I had $1 million in closing that month. However, there was only like 6 leads in, and we were, I don't know, halfway through or 3/4 way through the month. So it was smoke and mirrors. I was going to have a great month, but the following month I was going to do 4. So it definitely was smoke and mirrors.
Right. Hey, Travis, have you ever experienced the ebbs and flows or the peaks and valleys of production in this business?
Yeah, absolutely. Most of my career.
Okay. Most of your career. So can you speak to us a little bit about what your struggles are? I mean, with relationship to, I know you moved to Florida fairly recently, within the last year, I would imagine. Is that correct?
Yeah, I moved to Gainesville in August of this year, working for a credit union. I had met Richard and Scott. I've known Scotty for years, but I had met Richard in May at a Mortgage Marketing Animals event. And we started talking about me coming on board, and I was like, I don't have, literally, I have no realtor relations. I have no past database. Like, I left Wisconsin with a 5,000 person database. I knew all the agents in the marketplace. I'd worked with them for years, and I was completely unplugging and starting fresh. So that's been my biggest struggle is, I mean, I probably spend 50%, 60% of my week out trying to get opportunities to get face-to-face with agents when they can refer me business. So as part of Richard's team, he has a freedom caller for me that calls 2 days a week for realtors. That gentleman sets up appointments for me, and then I try to supplement that with other agents and other opportunities wherever I can to try to get face-to-face with people.
Right. Are you starting to see the volume of your business pick up again?
I am actually. In fact, I used the lead tracker form that the Mortgage Marketing Animals had, although that Excel spreadsheet is way more thorough than the one I did use it.
We've all said that Mark Zachary kind of recreated the spreadsheet to a level that most of us will never fully comprehend.
Hey, yeah, that's very impressive. So I used the one with them, and I just counted. I had 13 leads, of which 4 of them turned into pre-approvals, and 1 was a closed sale. So it's been slow. It's jumping into the market as a mortgage banker in November was probably not the smartest decision I've ever made.
Right.
Only because I was going right into the dead part of the season here.
Right.
So now it's starting to pick up. The agents are starting to refer me. So it's been good.
Good. So the good news is that your conversion rate right now is about 38%, which is a little bit higher than normal. And so one of the things that any of these people on the call would attest to is when you actually get more excited about generating leads and less excited about your closings is where I think you finally grasp the reality of why a lead tracker is so important. I've always believed that as many people as you put into the funnel, you'll eventually get out the volume that you need. And I think the batting average statistically is anywhere from 30 to 40%. So if your goal obviously is to close like 10 loans a month, like Ryan Miller's goal was, he knew that he had to generate 30 leads a month if he was going to have a 30% conversion ratio. The ability for him to create relationships beyond that 30% is where his business is really going to start to take off, because every month that he generates 30 leads, he'll get more than 10 closings because he'll have probably 7 or 8 of those that'll be pre-quals that'll turn into closings, several months down the road.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
How long does it take like this where you're seeing correct numbers as far as closings versus leads? Because obviously if I get 50 leads in a month and I close 4 loans, those 4 did not come from this month's leads. They came from months and months and months earlier. So does it take about 6 months before those ratios kind of fall into line?
No, I've always looked at it and said you have, again, the seeds and the fruit. When you have fruit, you've got those people that call you that are actually under contract. And so what you have to do is look at your pipeline and go, I know that this month or within the next 60 days, I'm going to close 30% of my business. So when you track your lead tracker, it's about a 60-day window. Leads that come in that close after that 60-day window are leads that will actually pop up again on your future lead tracker as a closable deal. So sometimes you're going to see that same transaction show up more than once as a seed and another time as a fruit, as a closable deal for that month. Because I believe that when you track your business, you're always managing those people that are live deals until they become closable transactions. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You didn't sound too sure about that, so I'm going to say maybe not.
Well, then wouldn't that jack around my numbers now? Or it's just okay to say that every month somebody who is still looking is still a new lead then?
It's not a new lead. It just remains in that lead track. So let's use this as an example. So let's say you met Travis Egan back in November, and he was an active lead, but it wasn't going to be looking at buying something for another couple months. So you followed up with him, followed up with him, followed up with him. So your lead tracker for November showed Travis's name on it, so that factors into your ratios for leads. However, until he becomes a closable deal, meaning that you move him from a yellow to a green, you don't move him to a green, or you don't put him as a closable deal until he's actually under contract in that month. So yes, he becomes a lead, but he eventually becomes a closable deal, which does factor into your ratios. But the difference is between being a lead versus a closable deal. He's a closable deal in February, but you've been managing his relationship since November.
Yep.
So I'm in my dad. What's that?
And milking him for leads.
Absolutely, leveraging the relationship and orchestrating referral moments to get them to realize that your business is relational.
You have such
I know,
a nice
Margot, I love it.
You
I
put it
love
a nice way, though. I milk them, and you manage the relationship.
But let's be honest about this. I think when you have a lead in November, that is a lead on your lead tracker. It doesn't show back up again until it becomes a closable deal, because then that converts you to saying every time you've got a lead coming in, you can then track how long it took for those leads to turn into closable deals, and it still factors into your month-to-month production.
Oh, I see.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest. If Ryan's generating 30 leads a month and only 7 of them are closable deals, he's probably got another 8 to 10 of them that are going to be pre-approved buyers down the road. That's a whole nother layer of what the lead tracker does. It allows you to manage those pre-approvals on a more consistent basis. And so when you look at the leads, Ryan doesn't have to go out there and find new realtor relationships anymore. If he literally spends the time managing those pre-approvals, he's insulated himself on future business. And if he speaks the language and he articulates his value well enough, each one of those leads and each one of those closable deals has the opportunity of converting into a CCR, which, Travis, means current client referral.
Well,
and so
CCR.
Right, CCR means current client referral. And so what it ends up doing is that lead tracker becomes your source of business, or let's say your volume knob, that when you're looking at your day and Ryan's like, you know what, I don't have any leads coming in, he can literally turn back into his lead tracker and go back 3 or 4 months and start calling on those people that were at one point a pre-approval or a lead, and trying to find out if he can revitalize some of those. It becomes a way that you can start controlling the volume of your business based on leads that have come in that don't fall through the cracks. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Can I ask an obvious question? It's Travis.
Everything is, please, Travis.
How do I get the lead tracker?
It depends on which one you want.
I'd like to mark off that. Well, I didn't realize there was multiple ones.
Yeah, well, there's the one that I use, that Ryan and Miller and I use, because we're more like easy, simple, just kind of keep it basic, which is the one you see on the screen. And the one that's written by NASA is the one that Mark Zachary created. So in order to use the one for Mark Zachary, he requires you to fly out to his house. You have to sign up for his course. It requires you to pay some money, and he makes you sign a confidentiality agreement, and it's a 6-week training plan. So depends on which one you want to use.
And the birth of my first child, right? Something along those lines.
No,
I
I
don't
want your
think
first child. I just want your first 5 loans. I don't want your first child.
Exactly. So
no, hey, just shoot me an email, Travis. I'll shoot it to you. I don't mind sharing mine. Whichever one you pick, it's totally up to you. But I share it with Margot, and I don't mind sharing it with you.
And I like it. Once you figure out where everything is and how it goes, then yeah.
I'll tell you something I just added to mine. Doug, if you want to pull it up real quick.
Oh, yep, the one that, okay, yep, hold on one second.
Hey, Mark, while he's pulling that up, how do we, because you and I are using the same one, how do we do what Doug said, which is put that lead in as a later on, or just go back up to?
What I did, Margot, is at the end of the year, at the beginning of this year, I went in and I pulled over 9 leads that were very serious leads that I thought from the previous 6 months. So anywhere from maybe July to the end of the year. And I put those on the bottom of my lead tracker so I wouldn't lose track of them. So actually, when I say I've got 39 for the month, I pulled 9 over from the previous year, and I got 30 new leads for all of January. So they're the last 9 that are on my list, from 31 to 39 there. Those are the people that I pulled over. And so, you know, my monthly number will be skewed for maybe just a few weeks, but my year-to-date numbers, which is up in that year-to-date column or year-to-date thing over there to the right, that's going to be accurate.
Okay. Well, and that's what I thought too, because how ours are tracking is a year-to-date, not per month, per month, per month. So
yeah, I'm more interested in my year-to-date batting average, because I can figure out what my monthly is pretty easily, but I want to know overall what's my batting average.
Yep, that's how I was looking at it as well. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I'm using it right, and that I would just take that lead that came in January, and I don't put him back down in June when he's actually going to buy. I just change him to a green closed loan at that point when he closes, correct?
Yeah. But that's also why I created a summary tab, so I can add the years together going forward, and I'll have an overall summary of my batting average.
Wow. This is where my lead tracker was so limited.
Well, one thing I added, guys, this past week is a Thor's Hammer tab, and it's up there at the very beginning of the spreadsheet, over on the far left, that bottom sheet. You see that, Doug?
Say that one more time.
The Thor's Hammer tab down there.
Look at the tab down at the bottom.
Yep,
I added that this week, and right there are all my agents that I'm going after. And so everything is on this one spreadsheet.
That's nice.
Yep, makes it easy to pull up. Travis, a lot of the people that are on this call literally keep their lead tracker open on the bottom of their computer in their tab bar daily. Like they don't, they open it up as the first thing that they look at every single day.
That's what I would do too, actually.
Right. So this is very much just the entry-level part of this conversation, because what this conversation turns into is what our strengths and our weaknesses are as loan officers and as salespeople. And I know that our calls have really kind of dug into the psychology of our business. Those of you that will be at the Florida Roundtable will get to hear this, and those of you that are coming to the Indiana Roundtable will hear this. But for those of you that aren't really participating, I've really started to understand what this call actually is, and to many of you, it feels like it fits within your wheelhouse, like you've identified with the conversations and the messages about what the triangle of trust means and how you articulate it to the realtors and to your clients, and how that becomes more identifiable to people. Travis, I'm going to share with you a video that Margot did that she sends out to all of her. She sends out to either her clients or her realtors. I'm not sure which one, Margot.
Right now, I'm sending it out to prospects, to when I get a lead. But I am going to create one that goes to realtors as well.
Got it. Okay. So Travis,
it's the same information, but it's just written from their point of view.
Right. So Travis, this is what it eventually gets to, and how this call has really turned our ability to kind of communicate our worth or our value to our clients in a way that makes them feel and understand how different we typically are. So if this doesn't come through, just tell me you can't hear it.
My name is Margot Hornblower. I head up the Hornblower Group here at Success Mortgage Partners, and my business practice is based 100% on referrals. from current clients, from past clients, and for people in the community that know, like, and trust me to work for their friends and family. In fact, the reason you're reaching out to me today is based on the fact that somebody in your life was compelled to refer me based on their past experience with me. And you know, I take that responsibility seriously. In fact, my entire business is based on that. It's called the Triangle of Trust, and I can't wait to tell you a little bit more about how it all works. But know this, at the end of the day, what it means to you is that it's your goals, your wants, your needs, and your desires are always foremost in my mind and in every conversation that we have together. Because my ultimate goal is that you're going to go back to the person that referred you to me and thank them for it. There is no better way to work. Everybody's a winner. So I really look forward to learning more about you, about what you want to accomplish, and making you an advocate for my business as well. Talk to you soon.
So, Margaret, you want to tell him a little bit about why this video works and how it's changed your business a little bit?
I believe I've only sent it out to one guy so far because Doug brought this up not last week but the week before, and so I was so geeked because I thought it was a good idea. So what I believe it's going to do is you send this out when you don't have time to talk to somebody, because in a lot of instances I'm a one-woman show myself, so I'm on the phone talking to somebody, I take another call, or I'm working on a project, I take a call, and I don't want to stop what I'm doing. So what this does is allows me to take that prospect, convey to him on the phone that his business is important to me, I'm satisfying another client's needs right now, but let me send you some information about myself, and I'll circle back at what time, 2, 3, 4, whatever time works for him. So number one, I'm getting his name and his contact information in the first 30 seconds, shooting out this email that conveys the beginning of explaining this triangle of trust, that I work entirely by referral, that my taking good care of him is because of a relationship I have with the person that he's referred. So he benefits in a large degree because of a previous relationship, and that ideally I want to turn him into that type of a person as well. So I think it kind of sets us apart from people that say, what's your rate, and you're in there digging in the mud with them.
Travis, when you meet with your agents or your clients, how do you convey your value to them? Like, what do you say to people to make them believe that you're the right person for the job?
Well, if you take it from the agent perspective, I kind of do the frog methodology. I sit down with them. I almost never talk about me in the first meeting with an agent. Eventually it comes up, they'll ask me questions about it, and I usually end it with, I can sit here and tell you I'm great. The truth is, any lender worth their salt is going to do that. But ultimately, time will tell. You'll be able to assess whether I'm great or not. But I'd love the opportunity. Can I count on you to send me your next opportunity so I can show you whether we're as good as we think we are? From there, what I do is I've recorded a video that basically goes out to them, just thanking them for that time, and I personalize each video within MWS. I literally created a video for the agent that goes out to say, hey, thanks for taking some time to meet with me, type of a thing. I've never done a video for a prospect, though. That's awesome. For the prospect, what I typically do is I encourage them to apply online. So the way I do it is I always say there's basically 3 ways to apply. You can come into the office and watch me type. That's probably the least effective way for you to do it. The second is we can do it over the phone, or the third is we can do it online, which is what most of my clients prefer. Gives you complete autonomy on when you do it. Is that something, or do any of those sound like something you'd be interested in? Usually the client says, I'll take the online application. I have an email signature pre-built that I just click, drop their email in, and send it to them. And then that's how I do it. The video, I think, is actually a way better way to do it. So I'm totally going to borrow that from Margot. In fact, Margot, don't be shocked when I call you.
Hey, no problem. I can email it over to you, and I've even got the script typed up that I wrote down what Doug said, and then I did it verbatim I had his thing completely memorized, and then It took about 2 days, but then the more I said it, I said it to my chickens, to my dogs, to the TV. I said it to everything. You make it your own, and then I realized I could never
your
do
chicken
that.
tastes so good, Margot.
Pardon?
Hey, Margot.
That
It's Dave.
your chicken tastes so well.
Hey, Margot.
Yes?
Great job, by the way. That was awesome.
Thank you.
It's a pretty cool video. I mean, I really, I mean, I've never done a video when I did it with when I was writing loans. So the fact that that was there, that was an idea that it just kind of came to me, and I think in my heart, I believe it exactly communicates the value of who she is, and the fact that a client gets to see that before they ever talk to her on the telephone in detail, I think it really sets the stage for exactly what the client can expect.
That's awesome. No, that's really awesome.
Hey, Mark had a big aha moment several months back when he implemented a few things into his language when he started talking to his clients that really kind of got him into the I'm more valuable than I only work with a select group of people. Hey, Mark, can you talk a little bit about what that was, what that transformation was exactly?
Yeah, like my script. You want to hear the basic script? Or
Yeah, I mean,
how I
there's
kind of changed.
Yeah, there was one or two things that you added to your conversation that I feel like you've repeatedly said that it really has elevated you to a point where you feel like you run a mortgage practice now and you're not really just a commodity.
Yeah, so my first, usually my first conversation with them is obviously I ask who referred them to me, and one question I ask now that really sets the realtors back is when I'm meeting with them, I'll ask them, what do you want me to say about you? How do you want me to refer you? And a lot of them are like, they just go blank. They don't even know. So I do ask that question at the very beginning when I meet with them. And then when I get a referral from them, I'll ask, who referred you? And then I go in from there. I say, Houston has roughly 47,000 registered real estate agents. And this XYZ realtor is one of the tops in this area, and constantly being recognized for customer service and whatever. And I refer them and build them up just like they tell me to, when I meet with them. And then I say all this to say this, Mr. Borrower, so and so would not refer you to me if she didn't trust me to do a great job for you. I have two customers. One is you and one is my realtor. And I want to make sure that you become a referral partner of mine after this transaction is completed. And if you're looking for the lowest mortgage rate out there, I'm not your guy. You're going to find lower interest rates online. And then the next page that you hit is going to be a lower interest rate. You're always going to find somebody cheaper, but the fact is this is like a plane ride for us. Sometimes, you're going to have some bumps along the way, but you need to have a pilot that's going to land this plane for you, and me and my team are going to land this plane for you. And so would not have trusted me to handle you if she didn't believe that. I pick and choose about 10 to 15 clients that I work with on a monthly basis. If we choose to work together, we will take great care of you because I want you to become my outside sales rep when this deal is done. Is that agreeable to you, Mr. Borrower? And usually it's yes.
Nice.
And not one time do they ask about rates from that point on.
Right. And the reason why that conversation is so powerful, it has to do with the understanding that when a borrower comes in to meet with us, they're thinking these questions, whether you talk about them or not. And I know I've said this analogy before, but it's always great to have an unsolicited comment than it is versus having a solicited comment. Like walking into the room and having your significant other look at you and say, wow, you look good, as opposed to you walking into the room and asking your significant other, do I look good? And it really comes to play in your conversations with your clients, because the conversations that you basically talk about that they're not aware that they're even feeling or thinking just make you even significantly more, it makes you more credible. I know that Mark has felt that way with his clients because they're not commoditizing them anymore. I know, Ryan, you probably have had similar scenarios. Is that correct? Hey, Ryan, you there, buddy?
I am. Sorry, I had you on mute. Yeah, I've had very similar experiences. I don't use the exact script as Mark does, but it's similar to that, and I very rarely get shopped. Nor do I have many clients that are, going to bash me over rates. I price up my loans where probably most lenders could offer a better rate, but that's a rare conversation we have after our initial application.
And I have to be honest, and that's the part of it that I love the most, Ryan, was not everybody's conversation is exact. This is not a script that you have to repeat word for word. It really comes from a place of being very vulnerable with your clients and being very clear on what it is that you're after and why. Too many times we as loan officers show up and feel like we have to be the order taker and that we have to come to the table with our clients and our referral partners as being the servant in the transaction. A lot of what we're talking about is a paradigm shift between treating yourself as a business owner versus being a order taker. It's one thing to look at your business as a practice. It's another thing to look at your business as a job. And I think a lot of the times we show up with our clients and we very seldomly have the right words to convey our value. And a lot of this call over the last several months has been around learning how to articulate our value so that people can see and feel what we are. And I got to stress that piece of it the most. Clients choose to purchase goods and services from people that they believe in what they believe, meaning that there's alignment, that there's a connection. And the only way that you can ever make that happen with a consumer is first by articulating who you are to them, and then B, by setting the stage for what it is that you expect from them. And I know with Margot and Ryan and Richard and Mark, there has been a tremendous transformation in their business just by looking at the last 6 months and the number of leads that they've gotten. And I think a lot of them will tell you that the leads that they've gotten don't really come with such, Mark, when you got the 39 leads last month, were you stressed? Did you feel like you put in a hard month of work to get those 39 leads?
Not really. I feel like I'm so organized now that I just have a routine that I do every day, and I have a theme on every day, so I'm never really stressed out about it as much as I had in the past. And so no, I can't say I was really stressed out about it because it's just become a routine for me now to be on the phone at certain times of the day and calling certain people.
Was it comprehensible to think that in January of 2015 that you had the potential of creating 39 relationships to yield you the kind of business that you've gotten today?
No way. I didn't think it was possible.
Okay, so therein lies the biggest challenge that I think a lot of us wrestle with, is we think and we believe that in order to generate 39 leads or 30 leads or even 25 leads, that it requires a ton of effort and a ton of sales and a ton of, putting yourself out there and being constantly rejected. The truth in the matter is I don't think there's a single person on this call that feels like their business now has any sense of rejection, because I believe a lot of the leads that are coming in are really being kind of teed up for them in the sense of every referral source that they're getting business from recognizes or sees the triangle of trust value, and they endorse them not because they think that they're the cheapest rate, but because they believe that there's this tremendous value in that borrower meeting with Margot or Mark or Ryan or Richard or Dave Flashner or anybody else for that matter. Does anybody else feel the same way?
Oh yeah, no, I do. In fact, when Mark posted that, that's the biggest thing that I realized, and Doug, you and I emailed back and forth about it, was that when I quit making phone calls last year, November and December, when I was so busy, it shows up right now. I mean, it's just like, there's nothing in the pipeline because I stopped that basic little thing, of picking up the phone and calling for at least an hour a day. and I break it up on Mondays to certain ones, Tuesdays, so it's never just random. It's always one day's realtors, one day's past clients, one day's prospects, that kind of thing. But
when you're calling these people, you're not calling to sell them something, are you? You're not trying to call people to convince them that it's not sales anymore. It's more a relational phone call. And I love the idea of how when you pick up the phone, you have a tremendous sense of value and worth, that when somebody picks up the phone, that realtor picks up the phone, you know that you run your business better than they do, and you know that you provide a higher level of value than they do, and you probably have some tools in your toolbox now that if they wanted to listen to you, you could help them improve their business. Isn't that fair?
Oh, yeah. Yep. In fact, today, making call, if you're trying to ask for business, for most people, is really hard. But what I found is today I didn't ask for business for me. I asked, who do you know that's selling their house? Because and that's what I said, was there's no inventory out there where we're at. We don't, we're trying to get people to list their houses earlier, so I want to help out the realtors that I know. So who do you know that's listing your house right now? And of course, if you have anybody that wants to buy, I'd like that too. So you just kind of throw it in as an afterthought. And I had more people go, what a great idea. No, let me talk to some people at work, and where you're getting feedback because they want to be part of that. So.
Right. And that's the lead tracker does something amazing. When you start tracking your business, it gives you a sense of value that you didn't have before. You know that when you look at a piece of paper and you can't hide, and as Ryan or Mark would say, there's no more smoke and mirrors, you know exactly how you rank in relationship to the people that you're talking to. I believe in personal relationships and in business relationships, you get what you believe you're worth. And I'm sure you guys have heard that quote before, but I honestly believe that now when Ryan and Mark and Margot show up to a realtor appointment, they have a tremendously different perspective on their value and know the agents that they want to work with versus the agents that want to work with them. Meaning that there's an obvious disparity between an agent that tracks their business and knows how to run a business and actually treats their business like a practice versus those agents that just kind of have a job. And this lead tracker gives you that sense of when you sit down in front of an agent, you can look at them with confidence and go, I know my numbers. I know the difference between what I'm good at and what I'm not. That vulnerability and that clarity is the difference between being a minor league baseball player and being a major league baseball player. Knowing your statistics, knowing what you're strong at, what you need to improve on is probably the best conversation that you could ever share with an agent, because I don't think that there's a lender on the marketplace that would show up to a realtor appointment with a lead tracker and go, here's my business, what's yours like?
That's true, man. That's really confident.
Yep.
It gives you what I believe is it gives you not only the value and the worth, but if you take a look at what everybody on this call has been saying, if we can teach you the articulation of what your value is, it provides you a chance to be able to differentiate yourself from all of the other people that sit in front of your clients. Because let's be honest, your clients have a ton of different choices, and for that 5 minutes that you have their attention, you've got to be able to articulate your value the same way that Margot did in that video, in such a way that a client believes that you're in alignment with them. And the only way to do that is by telling a quick story or by articulating your value with the right words. And I think that a lot of the success that these people are having is really centered around just understanding that I'm worth something. I can bring something to the table, and that I'm not an order taker. I can show up to a conversation, or I can talk to a borrower and be like, listen, I would love to earn your business, Mr. Client, but one of Mark's greatest strategies is the takeaway. He said, I would love to earn your business, but you know what? As much as you're interviewing me to do your mortgage, I'm kind of interviewing you to determine if you're a good fit for my practice. But at the end of the day, we have the agreement that both of us can decide one way or the other. And by doing that simple takeaway, you've gone from being a person of need to a person of want. And that makes you look stronger and more valuable to whomever's sitting on the other end of the table. Does everybody agree with that?
Absolutely.
Wholeheartedly, yes.
Yeah. So This call, as it grows, Travis, as you continue to show up and participate, you'll start but if you can increase your conversion rate, not only with realtors sending you business, but with the borrowers wanting to work with you, I can't imagine this relationship that we established with the people on the call is going to be anything but life-changing for you.
I appreciate it. Once again, thank you. I've already got 2 pages of notes that I've written.
Oh, awesome.
And
Well,
for
hey,
the new,
Travis,
for the new guys,
just so you know, these are all recorded, so you can put the pen down and transcribe them later. So in the meantime, guys, that's all I got. That's all I've got for today. For those of you that are going to be in Florida for the roundtable, I'm looking forward to seeing you. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out and call me.
Bob is the agent.
Thank you, everyone.
all right.
All right, guys, thanks as always. See you guys.
Everybody.
All right, bye-bye.
Yeah, what
Thanks,
company are
guys.
you looking for?
Bye.